You are listening to Behind the Headlines, presented to you by the Warragul and Gazette.
Welcome to Behind the Headline, the official podcast of the Warragul Gazette. I'm Gazette journalist Nicholas Duck, and joining me today are representatives from the Warragul Industrials Women's football team. Welcome, guys. If you guys want to just introduce yourselves first of all.
Yep, I'll go first. I'm Carly Ma. I'm the women's president this year of the Warragul Industrials Women's program.
Scott Armour, the head coach of the Warragul Industrials Women's team.
And I'm Jess Zarlik, and I'm the assistant coach, and also play in the women's team.
Beautiful. Well, let's kick it right off the bat. A couple weeks out from round one. How are we feeling?
Excellent.
Yeah, good start.
So pumped. Yeah. Absolutely pumped.
Yeah, good. Yep. Really excited. We've had long pre-season, started second week of November. So we're up to 20-something training sessions, and we have a practice game on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Div 1 play Pakenham, Div 3 play against Moe Newborough. So it's our first hit out after a long pre-season. So we're all really excited just to get into it.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to jump on that. Div 1 and 3, that's a bit of a difference from last year. We're a bit of a different league, new setup. Explain what that's all about.
Well, we actually put in for Div 1 and Div 2, but there's lots of new teams. It's a Mornington Peninsula league. It's a very strong league, lots of teams. So with new teams coming in, they've just reshaped the divisions differently. We certainly keep our Division 1 place because we made finals last year. And our development team, or our reserves, will be Div 3, which will still be a very good standard of footy.
Yeah, well, you mentioned it there, Div 1 making finals last year. Your first season in Div 1, and to make finals right off the bat, that must have been a pretty exciting time.
It was really exciting. We started off a little bit doubtful because we were made to go up once we won the Div 2 grand final the year before. So I guess we thought that we weren't ready, but we shocked ourselves. We are just so competitive and we don't give up. So yeah, we definitely made finals and we earned that spot. So we're going into this year a lot more confident, which is super exciting with all the new girls that we have coming through as well.
Yeah, well, if you wanted to talk about that, I suppose, when you sat down first pre-season training, did you talk about it at all, the fact that you had made finals the year before?
Yeah, definitely. We definitely showcased, and we talked about how we were feeling this year compared to this time last year, and the vibe is just so different, especially at training. I feel like everyone's up and about, and not that we never were, but I feel like it's just a bit different. That confidence is in the air, which is really exciting.
And that final that you played, I mean, not to drag you back to a time you might not want to remember, but, if you look at the numbers, it looked like a pretty good game from yourselves, if not in front of goal.
It was a very tough loss for us, losing by a point in the semi-final.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was,
but it's elimination.
Elimination
Elimination
final.
Yeah. It was hard to get your head around controlling a game and losing it. But they made the most of their opportunities. We didn't. That's football.
Yeah.
We need to learn from that and move forward. And yeah, it was hard to take at the time, but I think we've all learnt something from it.
Yeah. I think we've spent a lot of our pre-season building our structure. Our preparation's been a lot different. We're a lot more focused, and I think that learning from that loss has been a big takeaway for the girls that played last year, but even the strength of the new girls coming in has really only just lifted our team even further, and I feel like this year's going to be a lot more steps and going to go a lot deeper into finals with what we're bringing up this year.
Well, I was just saying to Scott the other day, as a Melbourne Demons fan, I know what it's like to watch a team waste a lot of opportunities in a final, so I get it somewhat. Yeah. Obviously, I wasn't playing, but you mentioned coming into this pre-season working on structures and doing things differently. How have things differed now that you know that you can compete at that level and not only compete but take on the best?
I think it's given everyone a huge burst of confidence. I think that where we lacked last season, we had our strength was stronger than any other team in the competition. I think we lacked a little in speed, and I think what we've been able to gain over pre-season are a lot of young and really quick girls that will add to the already strong girls that we have, and I think the dynamic of the group is really balanced. So that's why I feel really confident moving this year.
Yeah. And numbers wise, how have the pre-season trainings been looking?
Really
amazing.
good. Yeah, really good. I think the word's got out that we're a really successful club and people want to come play with us. So we've got people travelling from all over to come and play for us. Melbourne, Yarran,
Traralgon. Yeah.
All, yeah.
We had
Lots of distance.
36 at training on the other night.
Mhm.
36 training on Wednesday night, which was great, with lots of apologies. So that's fantastic to
Yeah.
have that amount at your training sessions, and we had nearly 30 on the Monday night.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
So-
I've been talking to a lot of men's football clubs, and they're sort of struggling for those sorts of numbers a lot of nights, to be honest. So
Yeah, well, we went through a few lean nights. The least we had there was probably 12 to 15. So we were around 20 for a lot of it, but it's built, and now up into the 30s, and the goal is to try and push 40 in the next couple of weeks,
Yeah.
to have over 40 on the track.
Carly, I want to touch on, as someone who's been with the program for a long time and has seen it grow and develop. I know we've talked in the past, and a few short years ago, you might have been struggling to even get 10 at a training session. Can you believe just how much it's exploded over the last few years?
It's actually insane, and I feel like every day we get a message through the Facebook page saying, hey, I'm interested, just moved to the area, I want to play. And it's getting to the point where I'm like, oh, do I have enough playing jumpers? Then I have to keep order some in. But honestly, we'll keep taking people as long as they're happy to play with us, because there's no way that we'd turn anyone away.
And the fact that you cater for those experienced players and people just wanting to get into the game, that'd probably be a strength of the club, wouldn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yep, we're definitely, we always say to players that work and family comes first as well. So even if we have people wanting to play at that serious level but have work or family commitments that don't allow them to get to all the training sessions, that's fine with us. We know that people have a life outside of football, but we also too encourage that strong connection with the team. So making sure that they're still keeping in contact with coaches and the players, and it's just a really good culture.
Yeah, it allows, by having the two teams allows us to give local girls and women the chance to try football, to get involved in football, but it also allows us to be a pathway to a higher level. So this year we're supporting about 8 girls that are on a VFL list.
Yeah.
Girls on a VFL list have to have a local club as part of their contract. So we are supporting them as a Gippsland club. They're Gippsland girls, which is great that we can support them. They get to play with us sometime, but they also get to develop down at a Melbourne-based VFLW club.
Yeah. How often do you think you'll be seeing those players throughout the year?
It depends. Some of the younger ones that are just new to a VFLW list, maybe most weeks. But some of the more experienced ones, like Matilda Van Berkel, who's tore it up last year, and she played with us full year in 2022, and she got runner-up best and fairest, I think, last year.
Yeah.
For Box Hill, she will probably play most games for Box Hill, and that's great for her. But yeah, we were able to give her that pathway through to VFLW, and that's hopefully what we can do for these other young ones.
Yeah, awesome. And we were talking about the Mornington Peninsula League, and obviously the strength of some of those teams. Given the geographical location of the Dusties a bit further away from a lot of those teams, what is it like taking on teams, I suppose, more from the metro area as opposed to other country football teams?
Numbers wise and depth has been something we noticed, I think, first coming in, because something like Mornington they've got 3 teams. They had nearly 100 girls on their list at one point. So they've just got lots and lots of players. So we've been building that list and building the numbers, which helps. They've just got a greater population base down there. So it's good to be away from it all, because there's a lot of changing of clubs that goes on. But being away so far from them, we tend to keep our players, and they don't tend to go to any other clubs.
Yeah, and not only that, we find that the other clubs, they have a much larger, I guess, volunteer base as well. So you go and play other clubs, they've got 3 trainers on the bench, they've got coaching staff left, right and centre, whereas we've got Scotty, and now we've got Sis on board. So
Scotty's pretty good.
And Jamie.
And Jamie Cairns come on board, which is really exciting. But yeah, we're sort of not only growing our playing space, but also to our coaching team and the volunteer base too. So I guess that's a big difference that we noticed going into the Mornington Peninsula playing against those sides, is that they've got such a big team behind them to help them through and be so successful. So I guess that's what we're aiming for.
Was it a point of pride at all to come from country Victoria and sort of fly the flag and take on some of these bigger teams and
absolutely. I
show
feel
them what they're made of?
Yeah, I feel like we were the underdogs in a lot of the games that we played in that season going up to Div 1. But yeah, we're just as good and we're just as strong and we can take on anyone.
For me, that's been a massive part of the vision for Dusties, being involved in Power, Gippsland Power, boys and girls, about trying to prove to the metro clubs that country or Gippsland footballers are just as good. We sometimes lack the resources, but we're just as good. And we continually try to prove that at Power, and being at Dusties and playing in a metro comp, fighting the same fight. We want to show them that Gippsland women's football or footballers are just as strong, if not stronger.
Yeah, well, you mentioned Gippsland Power. As I understand it, the Dusties have a fair few players in the program this year. Let's touch on that for a bit.
Yeah. I think there was around 14 or so from Michaela's team who will join us soon. But yeah, really exciting to see Dusties taking over the Gippsland Power team, to be honest. But it's going to be challenging for the youth girls, trying to fit them all back into the team when they're eligible to play. But it's a good problem to have, I think.
Yeah. Like Carly said, I think they had well over 10 try out, and I think they ended up with 4 selected in the under-18s team and 5 selected for the under-16s team. So from our youth girls, so to have 9 Gippsland Power listed players at your youth girls club helps make us sustainable as the women's footy program, because we hope to have those girls coming through in the next few years.
Yeah, awesome. And for your Div 1 team this year, in terms of recruits, maybe new people to the club that fans should be looking out for, who's been catching the eye?
We've got around 15 new faces that I've just tried to find uniform for, which is so exciting and really hard on my side of things, but a good problem to have again.
Yeah.
But in terms of names, I reckon you could go through that, Scotty.
So we've got Alicia and Elise Molesworth have come to us. They're Gippsland girls who are both involved down at Box Hill. So they've come across to us. Sophie Scalzo, who has been involved in Gippsland Power, was a Gippsland Power vice captain, has come to us. Arlie Penry, who was Gippsland Power captain last year in her top age year, she's come across to us, which is fantastic. She's also down at Southern Saints, so if she doesn't get the opportunity with them, she'll be helping us, which is really exciting. We've also got Melina Apple from Pakenham, who's a very enthusiastic, young, hard-running player, which will be great. Anyone else? Am I forgetting?
Off the top of my head, not that I can think of.
I reckon Abby's a good one.
Abby, Abby definitely.
So Abby Hoiberg Cox. She's come from Tassie, living locally in the area. She's on North Melbourne's list. So,
oh wow!
And she lives in Warragul. So after moving from Tassie, and we hope that Abby will be able to come down and contribute to us, and we can help her out, and while she pushes ahead with her VFLW career.
Yeah, well, Carly, you touched on the club culture before. I suppose, did you want to dive into that a bit more, talk about what exactly separates Dusties from a lot of other clubs?
Yeah, definitely. Well, it's hard because I haven't actually played women's footy in another club. So I guess, though, is what draws people to us and makes them stay is the fact that everyone just gets along. We make a good effort to try and do things outside of footy and outside of training, give people the opportunity to, go out for dinner, or even just making sure it's not all so serious at training. Like, we all like to have a good banter and muck around, and we make people feel welcome. We've actually got an injured player that Scotty actually assigned to welcome and make sure new players get introduced to all of the players. So Elle's done a really good job at making sure that the new players that do come down feel welcome and feel like they have someone to ask questions or know where to go. We didn't really have that in place last year, but we still made sure everyone got around everyone. So I just feel like it's a nice, welcoming, family-friendly club.
Yeah.
I think that transitioning into a new club is really important. At schools, we spend a lot of time on working out a transition program and making sure they got buddies. So I think that was the thought behind it, making sure we did that as a football club, to make sure new girls coming in get to meet someone who looks after them, which is so focused a bit more on that, and I think it's been quite successful.
Yeah. There's also no groups, I guess, click groups. At training, when we do partner drills, we've always got to swap. Even throughout the drill, we swap partners several times. So there's not really that clicky group where someone's going to be left out, which I think is really important.
Yeah.
I've played at probably a couple of different clubs, some with some fantastic cultures and some with not so fantastic cultures. And I can easily say that the Dusties culture has probably been like not even second to none, like the best culture out of any of the clubs I've played at. The connection between the women's team and the men's team is really open. The guys often like come and watch us play and they cheer us on. They're always having a chat. We've warmed up with them a few times and done a little bit of training stuff with them. And I think that it just really promotes our one club. We do a lot of stuff with the netballers as well. And I think just that one club mentality just brings out that culture that we are a family club.
Yeah.
And it just makes us shine.
Yeah. We've been joined by one extra now. Please introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Michaela. I am the youth coach this year and also play.
Awesome. Well, as luck would have it, we were about to just touch on the Youth Girls program.
Incredible.
Which, excellent timing, as always.
Yep.
So,
Came in the right moment.
So the Youthies program obviously has had its own successes recently, making a grand final last year.
Yes.
And number of Youthies girls are ready to step up into senior football. Did you want to talk about the program for a bit? Okay.
Yeah, so incredible news out of last season. So as you just mentioned, Nick, they made the finals. And then this year we're going to go one better and actually knock off and win that final. So really strong start to the season. We've had plenty of numbers at pre-season training. There's some absolute jets coming through the program.
Yeah.
So got some absolute jets.
Yeah, beautiful. And did you want to talk about, I guess, the importance of having that youth program be as strong as it is so that it can sustain the rest of the club?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've been fortunate enough, I believe, I think 3 aged out last season, and we've been able to get them now into our senior program. And I believe we'll probably get another 4 or so come out this year up. So, and I don't know, it's incredible to have. We are a very strong driving force in girls footy in the Warragul region. It's good to see. People are constantly messaging the page, asking for availabilities, asking if their daughter, sister, whoever can come along to training.
Girls bringing friends as well, which is really exciting. We had a couple register. I think it's really important too. We've got Michaela as the youth girls coach, but she's also a really strong player in our women's side. So that's really brought the connection between the two teams. Yeah. We've had a couple of the girls help out at her trainings, and then the youth girls also train on with us sometimes too. So it's really building them up to the next level, so that when they do move up into resis or seniors, it's not a big shock to them.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
They're seen around the club a lot more. There's a lot more of that club connection. Hopefully, when the fixtures come out, we'll have some triple headers this year. So not only one game of women's football happening on Sunday, we have 3.
Yeah.
So, 4 games of footy.
Yeah. Did I see, by the way, that the junior competition was going to be split into 2 sections this year?
Yeah. So for youth girls this season, they've split it over a Div 1, Div 2 section. So Warragul Industrials will be in the Div 1, playing some strong competitive teams, but no dramas.
We're ready.
We're ready.
Must be a positive though that girls football is so alive and well that they've had to split it up now.
Yeah, absolutely. Like to be able to have, I think they've got 14 teams, maybe 15 teams to come through a youth girls football season is incredible. So it just shows you the pathway that we're going and how strong it is becoming that we've got that opportunity to go over a Div 1, Div 2 split. It also helps for the strength of footy as well, the quality of the games and so forth. No one wants to go out there and get flogged by 148 points. So
Oddly specific number.
I think that's what we got flogged by, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That really
First
just,
game,
yeah, I was going to say that really sticks in my mind about
Yeah.
148. But yeah, so to be able to go out there and play good contested footy, bring in their skills, learning things, challenging them, and just seeing them come through as a driving force.
Yeah, and you mentioned 3 girls have aged out and will feature in the senior team. Who are those 3?
So I believe only one's coming up over to Dusty's just due to uni commitments and so
Yeah.
forth. So they're going to be playing down in the Metro Leagues. But we've got Molly Shermans, who was
Yep.
the youth girls captain last year, and she's already shown great signs.
Yeah.
She's not scared. Like, she has made that jump
She's great.
into from youth over into senior footy.
Yeah,
You
and
can
then we've got
already see.
Charlotte Waller as well, who's signed on to VFL.
Yeah, VFL, but
Yep.
she's going to play in the Metro Leagues as well.
Oh,
She's-
okay.
Yeah, she's going to be based in Melbourne.
Yeah. Must be pretty exciting though that you've got all these girls coming through who are now, being scouted, being picked up by VFL clubs. Obviously, even AFLW might be keeping an eye on a few of them.
Yeah, 100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, that's good. It was good to, in the pre-season, received a call from Williamstown that they were having an intra club and they were a few short and they wanted some Dusty's girls to fill in. And then we got the same call from Box Hill.
Yeah.
So Box Hill got us to send 3 or 4 to them as well for a practice game.
Yeah.
So to be getting those calls to send players is really exciting.
Yeah, and it must be a good experience for the girls as well to get a taste of that higher level of football.
Yeah, it was a great experience. So, and I think that was one of the things we wanted is for a couple of the girls who hadn't had that experience before to get that experience and maybe spur them on to push that step further. So young Emily McGovern, who's really talented young player, we've been able to pick up from Traralgon, who was finished at Traralgon last year and top age youthie at Traralgon last year. She's come on board and she got that opportunity with Williamstown and Box Hill, and will only benefit from that. Her getting that experience with 2 VFL clubs for a game.
Yeah.
So she'll debut for us in Div 1 on Sunday in the practice game
Yeah, great.
off half back flank. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned the off-season. I believe there's been a few more things going on in the off-season. I've seen something about AFL 9s, the World AFL 9s. What is that all about?
So exciting. We actually love it. The Australian team, Sis and I played for Australia, the AFL 9s.
So, for the uninitiated, what is AFL 9s?
So AFL 9s is it's a game of AFL played on a rugby oval. So you only have 9 on the team. A few little amended rules with handballs and kicks and so forth, but ideally you just got to kick it through the 2 big sticks through the middle. Don't have to worry about points.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's just a game of footy on a smaller oval.
The main rule difference, I think, is if it hits the post and bounces back into play, it's play on.
I actually rate that.
So you keep going until the goal's kicked or it's out of bounds.
It's a lot shorter ground too to have to run up and down. It's not bad.
But I saw something about the World 9s. What, you guys were competing against other countries?
Yeah.
Yep.
So there was like United Nations, Fiji, Nauru, New
We've had
Zealand.
Samoa.
I can't remember.
How'd you guys get involved in that?
So we originally did it last season as a bit of a throw together team. So I think it was Sis, myself, Carly went down. Was there anyone else from Dusty's? But then this year we really got on board and it was pretty much a Dusty's Australia team. Let's not be let's not be around the bush.
Yeah.
Dusty's won the world, really.
Warragul Australia.
Yeah.
Same thing.
But yeah, and it was run through, I think, where is it? Box Hill.
Yep.
And then we had Penny coach for a little bit.
Coulthard,
Yeah,
Cool.
cool.
Yeah, that's the one.
So and then we went and dominated in the AFL Masters 9s as well. Took that out as well.
Yeah,
Pretty
but-
good tune-up, yeah. Yeah.
All that it takes, like, really.
We do love old people footy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's actually really good though to get the legs ticking over before the season and getting all
Yeah, it was
the
awesome.
jitters out and learning how to kick again and
The boots on again.
slotting some goals.
Yeah.
You say old people footy, Jess, but as I hear it, you're still going pretty alright. Still made the team of the year and all that last year.
Yeah,
Captain.
pretty nice.
Captain of the team.
Captain of the team of the year.
Must be getting better with age, Sis.
Like a fine wine.
Oh, look, it'll be... I'm guessing it would be a damn sight better than, the Masters comp that the Dusties men's are going to be entering. That's going to be
The Rusties.
The Rusties, which is an all-time
We'll get
nickname,
our
by
own
the
Rusties
way.
up, I tell you what.
I tell you what, it is.
Oh, everyone will
awesome.
get behind them, but I just can't wait to see what that looks like on the field. You
It's
know?
pretty solid footy.
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
Nearham South
Yeah.
played it. Nearham South did it last year, and there's more and more teams entering. Like it's, old people are still fit.
We're just waiting for
Yeah.
half of our team to come of age to actually enter in a women's Rusties.
Yeah.
We don't have quite enough just yet.
I know, I'm only 23. Unfortunate.
Not a peg yet, 19. No, well, it's good to see though that Dusties are just putting out teams left, right, and centre, aren't they? Just kids,
Yeah.
men's, girls, boys,
Yeah,
all
on
over the
that.
place.
On that also, Nick, we've had the youth girls go through. We've had 9 be entered through Gippsland Power, so which is incredible. 5 through under 16s, 4 into under 18s, and out of that we've also had 2 be selected for tryouts for the Victorian team. So
Yeah,
Very exciting.
there's Dusties players everywhere.
yeah. Well, we were talking about the explosion of women's and girls football before. What do you guys put that down to? Is the AFLW would obviously have a pretty big impact on it, but are there any other driving forces at the moment?
Probably looking at both of them right in
Yeah.
front of me here. Between Scott and Carly being the driving force for the Dusties, having the club behind you is a huge one with women's and youth girls football. You hear it too often that it's still in other clubs are very much he versus she type, attitude, but we don't get that through the club here. So you need that support, and to have 2 driving forces that are passionate about it, that live, think, breathe footy. And always looking for the advances, looking how we can better it, how we can encourage more girls to get out there on the footy field, get them to encourage their friends, to encourage their sisters, whoever it may be. There's mums out there, we've got a grandma, surely. Have we got a grandma on there?
We've
There's got to be.
Quite a few mums and daughters.
Yeah, we've got,
Yeah.
and then there's sisters playing along. We had the 3 Van Berkels playing together last year.
We'll get a 4th.
We'll have
when
the
she
3
gets a
Wilsons
bit older.
debuting on, we've got 3 Wilsons coming through on Sunday, so getting everyone amongst it.
It's also helping that I guess we're developing our players in football, but also in leadership. So, for example, Sis played last year and now she's advancing up to senior assistant coach. Michaela has played the last 5 years and now she's coaching youth girls. Like, we really want to keep that pathway, the development pathway within the club, to encourage women and girls to sort of take that next step and still hang around the game in a different way. Or like Michaela's got a young girl that unfortunately can't play too much footy, so she's sort of offered a leadership role in that space, getting her, encouraging her to still stay around the game, but in a different way, which is really exciting.
Yeah. And Jess, that assistant coaching role, how are you feeling about that?
I'm really excited about it.
Yeah.
We have so much coming into the team, and as I said, there's so much development there. Carly's touched on it a lot today, so it's just a really great opportunity to get in there, learn a lot about the coaching side from Scotty. I've done some midfield coaching in the past, but never something as full as the whole team, and stepping in there to directly support the coach with assistant coaching. So it's a really great opportunity for my development, but then also how I can help the girls out on the field and really support the team and the club.
Yeah, and Scott, you'd be glad for the help?
Oh, definitely. It's awesome having Sis on board, and I guess from my point of view, I'd love for the club to have a female coach one day, and so it's great to have Sis on board and working with her, and she's awesome. The girls got so much respect for her, of who she is a person and the player that she is.
Yeah.
So to have her as assistant coach is pretty phenomenal. And last year we were lucky as well to have Jess Anderson in that role. Jess to step back from footy because of work commitments, but she's going to hang around and help out a little bit here and there. So we've been pretty blessed. I've been pretty blessed in the last couple of years to have some pretty good assistants. And before that, Pete McKenna, who was amazing. Again, work commitments couldn't keep going. So I've been pretty fortunate to have some good help along the way.
Yeah. But Scott, from the coach's perspective, watching the group grow and develop year by year, I mean, what's that been like for you? Because obviously the girls are just improving every year.
Yeah, it's been awesome. It's good to look back on. I'm pretty proud of where the direction we're going and what the club's doing, and there's so many people that are involved in that, not just me. And it was on that track before I got there. There were people that put in the hard yards before I got there. So I was been only involved since end of 2021. So people before me got it going and did the hard yards. I've just taken over and kept pushing it forward.
Just make it sound like it's pretty easy for you, don't you? Just make it sound like
It's been some tough times, and there's been some questions over we're doing the right thing here or whatever. But yeah, when you surround yourself with good people, I think it makes it easier. And when you look at the people in this room, and I've got good people around me, and yeah, I think we're going to continue to build. And yeah, I want to sort of leave a legacy. I want the club to be in an amazing position when I leave, and I can hand it over to someone. And I'll still stay involved with the club, but it would be great for me to hand the reins to someone else one day.
Yeah, of course. Now, for the upcoming season, I want to talk about expectations. What's
Flag.
Flag or nothing.
Oh,
Yeah. If I go down into the final, I don't know if I'll cope.
aiming small? Good to see. Yeah.
Nah, I think again. So we went into last season saying finals is our goal, and we did that quite comfortably, and we were just a little bit unlucky in that last game. We are so confident that we could have taken it out. So I think anything less than aiming for a flag this year is taking a step back. But we're going to go in confident, but also too staying humble.
I think if we're not,
Save
but
it.
I also
Nice
think
job.
if we're not aiming for a flag though,
What are you there
what,
for?
what are we there for? But also because I don't think we're going to do the team or the club justice if we're not aiming that high, because we do have a team that can do it. So if we don't have those high expectations, like it's just not worth even trying.
And not just
So-
one team that can do it, we've got both teams that can
Absolutely.
do it. So.
Yeah, I was going to ask about the Div 3 team. You know, we've been
absolutely.
talking a lot about the Div 1 team and what we think they can accomplish, but what are we thinking for the Div 3 team?
They are a powerhouse.
They are.
Yeah.
They're
Like-
amazing. They give us a run for our money at training. Even the new girls that have come through, just trying out football. Some of the things that they whip out.
There's some craft. It's going to be. I'm really looking forward to watching and hopefully playing some of the
Participating in Div 3.
some of the Div 3 this year. That in no way is it. Yeah, and there's going to be weeks where you got to fight for your spot, and I think that's fantastic. You know, if you really want to push and propel your footy game for yourself, like you've got to get out there to training. You've got to make it work. You've got to push yourself. You've got to be committed to that. And look, you may be rewarded with going up to seniors, or other girls want to stay in resi. So there's going to be some really good, strong competitiveness throughout the teams.
And I think that's a big difference from last year and maybe the year before as well. That quite often there was a set team for seniors, set team for resis, whereas this year anyone could play up or down. So
I think there's a lot of depth this year. There's a lot of the 15 to 18 new girls coming in and not losing many. That means there's competition for spots, but that's football. At this stage, it looks like we might have Shani Layton playing a few games for Dusty's women's footy.
Okay,
Yes.
that's a fair pickup.
Yes. So yeah, we've been in discussion with Shani, and we've got a connection to Shani. I know Shani from a few years ago, and down at Collingwood, and she is very good friends with our new senior coach as well. So she's got a connection now to Dusty's, and yeah, she's expressed an interest in playing a few games of footy this year.
Yeah, what would that be like, guys? Running out alongside a bona fide AFLW player.
very exciting, and we'll learn a lot from her, which I think is awesome for us.
Yeah.
Beauty. All right, breaking news. Wonderful.
Absolutely.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for the scoop. I'm going to be jumping on that one. Well, thanks for joining me today, guys, and thanks for the chat. And, of course, best of luck for the upcoming season.
Thanks, Nick.
We'll
Thank
see you
you.
in a couple of games.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, perfect.